Oh, all right. Oiler fans, it's your day. Leaf fans, maybe it's your day. Sens fans, could be your day as well. Oh, NHL playoffs. There is nothing better. Thursday edition of the SportsCage. It's Barney, Shynkaruk. I'm going to be joined by Brian Munz. Munzy's going to be back in, former voice of the Winnipeg Jets, former voice of the Prince Albert Raiders, of the Melfort Mustangs, Nipawin Hawks. Like, they did a little Tisdale Trojans in there. Humboldt Broncos, of course. Now, always fun to have Munzy on the show. The C's are with me as well. We're going to have Rob Vanstone in about 10 minutes' time talking Riders. Trevor Blevins, head coach of the Melfort Mustangs that are off to the Centennial Cup, will also join us in hour one. Hour two, Arash Madani. We'll see what Arash has for us on this Thursday. A little clutch performer action. NASCAR report. It's supposed to be Sharky's day, right? Thursdays. Sharky is getting after it right now in Edmonton, getting ready for the Oilers and Kings. He is going to do the NASCAR report live from Edmonton. Very curious to find out what kind of shape Sharky's in, if he's found any trouble yet. Seth Hundeby from U of S Huskies, drafted by the Riders. Dave Thomas catches up with him. We'll have that in hour two. And then hour three, Glen Suitor should be in studio in that seat as I point right there. Glen's supposed to be live with us today. That'll be fun. Lots to talk about. They were at the Dogs Breakfast up in Saskatoon this morning. You heard Maz and Dave on the show yesterday. Dave was up there. That was a jam-packed show, actually. Luke Wilson, 10 out of 10 interview. That was a good one. If you missed it, you can go and download it in podcast form. Just scrolling through Twitter right now. Is Munzy in? Do we got the Munzinator with us? I just saw on Twitter, Munzy, welcome to the program once again, the old SportsCage. Nice to have you. St. Louis Blues having plane issues in Winnipeg today. They were delayed. On Tarman, there's a picture of it in Winnipeg. But that series, man, like now Winnipeg is going back to St. Louis with a chance to wrap it up. I am a betting guy. I don't have to say if I was a betting guy. They got no Scheifele. Ehlers is making the trek, but doesn't sound like he's going to play. And then they got to go. It has been so physical, so rough. We're going to hear from Scott Arneal a little bit later. Hellebuck, we were texting back and forth last night, looks lights out on some of those saves, and then he let in a street hockey goal somehow, some way. But the mood in that city where you are, it's a roller coaster of emotions, I'm sure.
Oh, it is a high-tech, best you can ever get roller coaster right now in the city of Winnipeg. So first of all, there's a little home ice advantage for you, right? You get the airline guys to, I don't know, go for lunch or whatever when they're supposed to be departing the Blues plane. It was interesting, actually. I had lunch yesterday with Chris Kerber, the voice of the Blues, and we were actually talking about, and he brought it up. He said, you know what? To this point in the series, St. Louis has probably had a better travel schedule than what Winnipeg has, just based on the way the days have been spread out so far in the series. There was an extra day in St. Louis. I think Brooks and Dunn was playing in St. Louis, so they had to wait an extra day. Which I would have been all over.
Yeah.
That would have been fantastic. I almost flew to St. Louis to go to the concert. Forget about the hockey.
Hold on. Before we go any further, what's your go-to Brooks and Dunn song?
Oh, well, you can't go wrong with the classic My Maria.
It gets annoying at the end. You ever noticed it? How he just keeps saying the same thing over and over and over? But I don't want to ruin it for you now. The next time you listen to it, you're going to be like, damn, Shink. I go, That Ain't No Way to Go. For some reason, that just reminds me of a 1993 Corsica that I drove in high school, and that CD sliding in the Alpine pull out the Alpine pullout player. And lipstick letters across the mirror this morning. That's how it starts.
Moon. Yeah, go on a little neon moon.
You ever heard the story, like how when they talk to Kix Brooks and he says how many people come up to him and be like, Neon Moon, that was our wedding song. And he's like, do you know what the song's about?
That's right. I've heard this story. Share though, because I'm sure some haven't.
It's when you listen to the song, it's about a guy that's the exact opposite of getting married. But Boot Scootin' Boogie, like probably the most well-known Brooks and Dunn song. And then what was the one? There was one from a soundtrack that was a hidden gem too.
Brand New Man.
Brand New Man's a good song. Yeah.
Right.
That would probably be my number 3. What's that one from that soundtrack I'm thinking? But anyway, we're getting off track. 936-6262 if you got a favorite Brooks and Dunn song that we haven't covered here. But you should have hopped on a flight from Winnipeg International Airport, little connector probably in Minneapolis, and then headed to St. Louis for that.
Yeah, but then by the time you get down there and you cross the border and you pay the American exchange, you're in for probably 1.2 mil right now with the exchange rate. So you can't get into that.
But Munz, you'd have elbows up though. You would have elbows up. It would all be worth it.
Yeah, no, you would. But to kind of where we started before we went off the rails, like you and I usually do, I think the city is in flux right now because all the talk downtown today, I was kind of out and about chasing my kid at a bunch of different stuff, and that might be a conversation for us today. Why do you have kids? It was kind of curious because the city is jacked that they're up 3-2, but people cannot get over the one goal. Made a gazillion other, like, no one's talking about the paddle stop that should have been in when Hellebuck dives back to make the save, which should have been in. Like,
speaking of street hockey saves.
Yeah. You're ripping your pads if you're playing street hockey and doing that, though. Mom and Dad aren't too thrilled with that one.
Oh, Gene. Chow's Gene and Top are going to be patching up some denim. No, you're exactly right, though.
But they won. Here, I'm on my phone. I can't. I was going to say I'll text Kerber and find out what the latest is for you. But, you know what? It was interesting going into the game, though, because everybody had the big red panic button in front of them, and they had both hands. Like, they were hitting it after falling twice in St. Louis. But as I've talked to a bunch of people around the league, and again, having lunch with Chris yesterday, it really isn't a 1-8 series, right? And I would say the same thing. Obviously, Dallas and Colorado were closer in the standings, Edmonton, Vegas. These teams that are all in the Western Conference, and I guess you could almost say the same for the ones in the Eastern Conference, maybe except for New Jersey, Montreal. I don't think it would surprise anybody if 14 of those 16 teams we're down to the final 2 battling for the 2025 Stanley Cup Championship.
Yep.
So do I think the series is over going to St. Louis? It could be. But it sure wouldn't surprise me if they're coming back for Game 7.
I think they're coming back for Game 7. And then I think we see Scheifele back, hopefully. I don't know. Maybe he's got a broken sternum. Like, did he get hit? And
he did.
And then Ehlers has to be close if he's making the trip. That's just my speculation. I don't know. I'm not with the team, obviously, and they're being tight-lipped about it. But it's been nothing like a 1-8. And when you looked at the bracket at the beginning and how it was going to shake down, and you saw the series, you went, okay, that Washington Jersey one could be a sleeper. Or Carolina Jersey. Washington, Montreal, no offense, Montreal fans, you guys have a lot to be excited about in the future.
Absolutely.
But then you
No
looked at the West, maybe Minnesota, right? Because who was I just talking to? And Chad in the back here, and who watches Minnesota play? Like, let's be honest, no one does. I watch a lot of hockey. I gamble on a lot of hockey through the year. I don't know if I watched a full Minnesota Wild game this year, but it's a tough series. I feel like it's going to go to 7, but we shall see. Hellebuck, his comments of, how no one in the world studies goaltending more than him. You could throw that out. Who's going to fact check that? Sure. Yeah, let's roll. Let's roll with it. But those saves last night, hopefully for Jets fans, gets him on the straight and narrow, and they go in. Maybe he could steal that game though, Munzy, easy, right? That's the other thing we're forgetting about. He could steal, just like Kemper almost stole a game for the Kings when they looked like they were hung over. Hellebuck can do that for the Jets tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the other thing, Barney, that isn't being talked about enough, Helly was outstanding last night, except for the one, obviously. But when your team scores 5 or 4 and plus the empty netter, it doesn't really matter. But throughout the game, for the majority, St. Louis had 6 shots on goal in the first period. They had 3 shots in the second period. They tried to put a little press on in the third. They had 10. But full credit to the entire group that played in front of Connor Hellebuck last night, because they didn't give the Blues really any opportunity to build momentum. Right? It was a little bit back and forth early. Both teams got that goal in the first 4 minutes and kind of had the building a buzz. But overall, that was one of the best defensive games, I think, that you can expect from your forwards and your defense together. Shannon Stanley kind of got burned a couple times on Blues goals. I think that was a little bit noticeable. Winnipeg's third defense pairing. But to allow just 9 shots on net through 40 minutes in a Stanley Cup playoff game with that much heat in it, that was a big win for Winnipeg, the way they played it.
There's so much to unwrap from the NHL, and we look ahead to tonight's games, and we'll keep doing that here for the next 3 hours. 936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. It's Husqvarna days right now. Discounts on chainsaws, blowers, weed whackers, lawnmowers, 10 to 20%. If you need anything like that right now, you get to deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street in Regina. They've been there since 1986. Prairieland Rentals is hot, Munzy. Big Brooks and Dunn city. Big Brooks and Dunn area here. Trisha, My Maria, and Lost and Found. See? Trisha guarantees she knows how to 2-step. She can go for a twirl. She could definitely go for John the Habs fan. I should really proofread when he sends it. You're getting ready to party Saturday for the Laughs annual elimination day. This country is going to erupt. Hey, John, good job, your Habs this year. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get to the Ottawa-Toronto series in a bit. Number of people, Jim, My Maria, Boot Scoot and Boogie, Benny in Winnipeg. Nice plug for Kristen at Chow's, Gene and Top, finest people in the land. Go to the every well-dressed man has a good Asian tailor behind them. Probably right. They do fantastic work there. So much to get to. We'll get to more text in a bit. I want to know, too, on the text line, we're going to get Rob Vanstone right after this break. What are people thinking about the draft? I know Maz and Dave, and they talked about it all yesterday, and we were hot. And what did we think about the Riders draft? There's a lot of people on social media boards. Social media, that's what I'm saying, not forums, because I stay away from those. That are experts here, Munzy. You know what it's like in Saskatchewan.
No, really?
Hard, like, these people are the Don Shulas of the CFL draft. They know everything. Dwayne Ford, step aside. We got a bunch of people in Saskatchewan, and I'm like, I thought it was great. The Curtis Rourke pick at 3, and some people are losing their minds about it. Why not? As they say on the Nooner, why wouldn't a guy? You get him in the 3rd round. Is he going to play in the NFL? I'm gonna give my comments again. As just some pigeon that does a radio show in Regina. I've never played in the league. I will.
Probably could have though, right?
Maybe a series. In my 20s, I probably could have survived a series. Other than that, really, my whole career, Munzy, whether it was hockey, football, basketball, the main sports I played, you know what? All I wanted to do was warm up. I just wanted to go for warm up in a packed barn or a packed stadium. I didn't really want to play. I just wanted bucket off music. Hey? Yeah, maybe a little Brooks and Dunn, an up-tempo Brooks and Dunn in the Saddle Dome, ringing it off the crossbar.
Brand new man, away you go.
Oh, let's go. That ain't no way to go. We're going to break. It's the SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. Thursday for Access Communications, trusted rural internet. It's fine folks at Access if you need anything there. Cindy messaged in, Brooks and Dunn, brand new man, Rex. She used to be mine. That was a good hidden one there. Tommy says, play something country. That is the one. That is the worst Brooks and Dunn song. If I was putting together a set list, don't put that on.
Yeah, you're burying that one.
Don't put that on.
How are we 25 minutes in and coming out of break did we not have a brand new man coming in?
Oh, because this YouTube streaming thing, we get the boot sometimes if we play music. Radio-wise, we can let it fly.
There's 37 million people right now listening to us on 620 CKRM.
We could play the karaoke version, and I could sing it. We could both sing it.
No, we couldn't.
Kix Brooks, when you think about it, that guy has stole a check for years. What does he really do? Like, Ronnie Dunn is the guy.
Ronnie is the guy.
He's got some entertaining to him. Remember when everyone out there when Ronnie Dunn came to Craven? Oh, this got to be 10 years ago. And it was just him, and he played like the late afternoon, and he killed it. And it was like, you got to see basically Brooks and Dunn on a 5 o'clock set for, well, I don't know, when you break it down, for probably $30. And it was amazing. What is Kix Brooks? It's like the third guy in Lady Antebellum. What, the guy that plays the piano, like Scoots. Yeah. You're not cutting everything a third, I hope, in that band, because it's like that guy doesn't do anything. Yeah, we're getting off track.
Just remember, Barney, there's no I in team, but there's 2 in invoice.
I love it. Western Pizza tonight. Playoffs are on. Get yourself a wheel. All the Greek favorites you like. Souvlaki, salad, ribs. Visit your local Western Pizza. Let's go talk to the rider historian himself, Rob Vanstone. I don't know when the last time you two talked to each other was. Robbie, Brian, Robbie.
Was it Pats versus Winnipeg at the Brandt Center?
Oh, would have been for sure. Like, we can't get Rob Vanstone on without talking a little Jets hockey. Come on.
Oh, especially right now.
How's the heartbeat, Rob?
Not especially. It's better than it was after Game 4. But now going back to St. Louis, where 2 games have not been extremely enjoyable to watch, and without Scheifele for Game 6, already without Ehlers, I don't know. I'm stressed out, and the game is still quite a ways away. Game 6 is still quite a ways away.
So are you calling Game 7?
I'm sorry?
Is there going to be a Game 7 then?
Well, the way that series has gone in St. Louis, it's been such a homer series. I mean, home teams are 5-0. So if you look at that, you look at the Jets without Scheifele, I would think it's probably coming back to Winnipeg for Game 7. But, hey, would that be a whiteout or what?
The big question that we have you here for, Rob, is do you have a favorite Brooks and Dunn song?
I'm a Jazz fan. I don't know anything about Brooks or Dunn, but so this segment is probably done.
No,
if you want to talk about the greatest musician ever, regardless of genre, jazz pianist Oscar Peterson, I'll go on forever. Oscar's the best.
Oscar, does he live in Maple Ridge?
Oscar Peterson was born in Montreal, lived in Mississauga, and is the absolute greatest. Google Oscar Peterson Sea Jam Blues, and your life will change.
I'm looking at the Prairie Land Rentals text line, and this Brooks and Dunn thing, I got to get to all these in a while. Plus, Dan just sent me a screenshot. He's at Chow's Jean and Top getting something altered. So both of those things have triggered people today. The draft yesterday, Robbie, and I know a lot of people out there, as we all three of us know, and everybody out there, that there are a ton of general managers out there from the Saskatchewan Roughriders now dissecting things. When you first look at it, is it the Curtis Rourke pick in the third round that is the one that jumps out at you, and that they took, I guess you could say, maybe a flyer there on a guy that could be a few years away?
I mean, you could say that. I mean, generally the Flyers are in Philadelphia. Generally the Flyers are lower down in the draft. And, you're thinking, okay, maybe there's an off chance that we'll spend a 7th or an 8th on an NFL draftee or signee. The fact that that's a third round pick paints a bit of a different picture. Will he be here this year? No. Will he be here next year? Probably not. But you still got to look at the fact that he's a 7th round draft pick. 2 rounds below Shooter Sanders. So he's not coming in with the kind of accolades that a first rounder would carry. So one of the Rough Rider coaches did a bit of research, and basically almost all the quarterbacks drafted by an NFL team in the last 2 years are still in the league. There's very few exceptions. But if you're looking 3 years, 4 years down the road, I think there's a reasonable chance of that happening. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone in the 3rd. He would have been a throwaway pick in the 8th, and let's just see what happens 6 years from now.
I thought when we were before the draft, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, I was like, I don't think he'll go that long. Somebody's going to take a chance on it just in case, because if it pays off, right, it's like playing the slappers. Heck, it's like playing roulette. Sometimes that number that you put your chips on hits, and then you look like, hey, look how smart I am. How does it work again? How many years would he be protected then by the Riders? Like, what's our window?
If he were to play in the NFL for 72 years and then decide to come to the CFL, the Rough Riders would own his rights. Oh. And I hope to write that story if it comes to that.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
Somebody asked me today if I could put a percentage on it. It's tough to say. I mean, he's with a team and with a coach where, we've seen it with Brock Purdy in San Francisco, where someone didn't come in with a high draft rating and has become a starter. So we've seen that program is good as far as lower round quarterback. Didn't work out that well with Trey Lance, but that model has worked for them. And Kyle Shanahan working with a quarterback could be the amount that he could learn there. But I look at the fact too. Nathan Rourke coming off that 2022 season. That's about as well as you can play quarterback anywhere. And he ultimately didn't stick around in the NFL. Now he wasn't drafted. But how do you look at that 2022 season and say, just slough it off? I realize I'm going back and forth on this, but I think that's the nature of the pick. And there's going to be a lot of speculation, but I don't think you want to be the GM 3 or 4 years from now or whenever, when Curtis Rourke comes to the CFL and you're thinking, oh, I could have had him. Now, every now and then the third rounder can turn into something huge. In 1995, the Rough Riders used a third rounder on Gene Mikowski. So that can happen, but it's not often the third rounder is a franchise type player. And that could be an exception if Curtis Rourke were to end up playing in Canada. And there's ratio benefits as well. It's such a lottery win if it happens, and a third rounder is a very small price to pay.
So you're
So
telling
Rob,
me
when you
there's a
look at
chance.
it, obviously, that's exactly it right there. So Rob,
What
when
a
you look
great
at
movie that
it,
is.
you've got your diehard CFL fan that's going to watch, pay attention to these kids that might or might not come north of the border. For your average Saskatchewan Roughrider fan, now into the back half of the week, are the Riders a better football club than they were going into Monday?
Well, you look at what they've done with the trenches, and I think it's a team that's already strong on the offensive and defensive lines with so much depth already. But to get Ali Saad in the first round, 4th overall, I think that's someone who can be a Corey Mace type player at some point. Eric Anderson going in the 2nd round. Now he's got an NFL rookie mini camp, but I think the chances are reasonably good that the Rough Riders will see him. There are so many offensive linemen here who played last year that there isn't the imperative of someone being here right away. But those are 2 players that, according to the Rough Rider draft board, were 1st round material. And so within 13 picks, there are two players of that nature. You know, Seth Hundeby in the 4th round, he was someone who's I think could have gone in the 3rd. And he's going back to the U of S to play another year for the Huskies and completing his engineering degree. But that pick, I think, really is going to be noticeable in years to come. It's a couple of futures picks, 3 and 4, but I think the Rough Riders in rounds 1 and 2 addressed more immediate needs.
Who does Daniel Weeb remind you of?
Well, in his interview with the Rough Riders, he was asked about his size. He's 5'8", and he invoked the good name of Weston Dressler. Yeah. So now, if that comparison is applicable in the next month or two or year or two, I think we're pretty happy about that. But I mean, he ran a 4.52 40, ran the 2nd fastest 3-cone drill in the history of the combine. Tremendous athlete and pretty strong for his size. I am looking so much forward to rookie camp to see what he does out there. His first CFL practice will be on the field that he knows so well. So I think I'm probably giving away my angle for day 1 of rookie camp, but that's where I'm going. Hey, a tremendous kid.
It's an old-fashioned tease. We like it. Rider historian Rob Vanstone joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. You are basically, this is how I picture it anyway, a fly on the wall in that stadium. You're kind of just going. How much work goes into this draft? Give us a look.
With me being a fly on the wall, I think there's a lot of people looking for pesticides around here and a swatter.
One of those sticky things that hangs down.
They've been waiting 40 years to hit him with this thing, and now they can do it.
Yeah, it's. I think maybe some people were salivating at that notion. It's interesting. I was downstairs in the football operations area yesterday, thinking, okay, it'll be a little calmer. But now you're negotiating with players. You're trying to handle all the logistics of getting players into Saskatoon, a few into Regina by next week. It's crazy right now. And there's kind of a feeling of calm after the draft for a few minutes. But I think now there's just such a compressed time frame between draft over, rookie camp starts on Wednesday, that it's pretty busy. The days leading up to the draft, the draft board is pretty much set. I mean, there's so much work that goes into that with Kyle Carson, the assistant GM, Paul Jones, assistant GM, Kent Majiri, the special teams coordinator, is involved a lot. So is Corey Mace. Jordan Greenlee, football operations coordinator, does. So there's so many people who are doing so much.
But that's the thing that I wanted to ask. That's the thing that I wanted to ask. It's like there's got to be a number of people that are like, 16, 17-hour days leading up to this, watching film, figuring it out. Okay, what if this guy goes here? Then what's our play? And, it's not just Jeremy O'Day or Mueller or Mace or who. There's got to be a number of people that need the plugs and the shout-outs on it.
Larry Dean, Mark Mueller, I could go on endlessly. Nick Boley and Nathan Schellenberg and Mike Wojtowicz, the analytics people are so hugely involved. And we were all crammed into a room for a couple of mock drafts. And what really got me is I sat down in the draft room And Kyle Carson, the assistant GM, he had to go back to his office for a reason. And he walks back in and he opens his binder. And the binder is called Draft 2025. And this thing was like so thick. And that really underlined it for me. I'd love to flip through that thing and see what's in there. That you could get a hernia lifting that draft book.
So, Rob, you touched on it, and it is hard to believe now that we're into May that the CFL calendar is right here. How exciting is everybody to kind of get up and rolling again, and kind of what's the vibe there around the stadium?
Well, I think last year there was a lot of progress, and so I think that whetted the appetite. You get to a Western final, and you want to take that next step, but you can't really address it. Go through the rest of November, December, January, February. A beautiful Saskatchewan winter once again, and now we're on the verge of it. And there's so much that happens during the off season with free agency and whatever. And you look at the team's roster on paper, and I think that also whets the appetite. But you just want to see that first workout. You want to see, players checking into the dorms. To see what is about to unfold. It's exhilarating, and it's a chance to see people that you're friends with once again. So there is that. I'm going to miss my dog for 3 weeks, but those are the sacrifices one has to make every now and then. I'll miss my wife too. Sorry, dear.
I was gonna ask about the dog at the end of the interview. So, but Kay, you can't use the word impressive because
my dog gets impressive. Yes.
It was Dave Thomas yesterday. Who else? Maz and Craig Reynolds. They used the word impressive talking about the commissioner. I think it's 11 times and count. Your thoughts on the new commissioner? You can't use the word impressive. Seamless.
He just seems to have made a seamless transition to that position. And it's like what he was doing at TSN for a number of years, I think prepped him pretty well for that. It's one he's had numerous high profile jobs at TSN, but that being the rights holder too, I think it is such a comfortable fit for him to move into the commissionership, especially with a media rights deal not too far around the corner. And he's such an engaging guy. Very impressive, I might add. I talked with him last week on the phone, and within 2 minutes, I felt like I'd known him for 50 years, and I've yet to meet him in person. And absolutely sensational sense of humor.
Did you tell him about your dog?
I did tell him about my dog. Yes, I tell everybody about my dog. I haven't texted him any photos of my dog yet, but I'll save that for June 5th when he's here. Doing some photos in person. It just I was so impressed with him. And his first press conference really impressed me too, because he was positive, but he was pragmatic, and I think it just just everything about him, even his voice. I mean, you listen to that voice, you think, man. That guy could be a first-rate broadcaster. Would he? How many people are born with that larynx? That's impressive as well. I certainly wasn't.
Wonder if he could come by and voice some commercials here at Harvard if we asked him.
West Coast one day. Not that we're cutting Munzy, but
yeah. Hey, cut me. If anybody, especially golf season now, put me on the chopping block, please.
We got Fred who needs Barney, right?
Yeah, exactly. Rob, always a pleasure. Let's maybe even do this next week, right? We're like you said, camp is around the corner. We'll be talking with you lots over the next little bit. Get home tonight, watch some hockey, listen to some Brooks and Dunn, and then we'll catch up again.
Sounds great. I hope the Blues are done pretty soon.
Yeah, you're a Jazz.
And Adam Brooks is a former Jet, so there we go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Rider historian Rob Vanstone joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Munz, Prairie Land Rentals text line. I don't know what's triggered people more: favorite Brooks and Dunn song, or Curtis Rourke and the draft pick in the third round by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Brian Munz is co-hosting today. The C's are here with me as well. And we got a text in from Dan. Also, nitty gritty tonight, boys. In the reg, Mr. Bo Dangles. Exactly. I call it Bo Dangles instead of Bojangles. Dance Little Gene. I'm taking. Did I tell you the story? Had a ticket to Game 6 tonight in Edmonton. Client/friend. Hey, come up. We're going. Let's go. I've never been to that barn. Probably a good atmosphere to go watch a game.
Oh,
and then
fantastic.
I'm like, look in the family calendar. That can be missed. I'm like, oh, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I've never seen them live. It's a farewell tour, and I'm taking my daughter, and she's a fishing in the dark. She likes her Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that trumps in on Game 6 in Edmonton. Sorry, should be a gooder tonight. Lots of Neon Moon, Lost and Found. Great tune. My Next Broken Heart, hidden gem, right up there. Yeah, play something country though. Only one person has said that one from Brooks and Dunn. That one's out. Sorry. Take a seat. Play something country. You're not going. And then Jeff, John, and Brian like the Curtis Rourke draft pick in the third round. Reg and Scott saying waste of a pick. He's never coming. You guys don't know that for sure, but you can have your say. Rhonda loves everything that the Riders did in the draft, including Curtis Rourke. Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. Husqvarna days are on right now at Prairie Land Rentals. Munz.
So you bring this up.
No, I didn't bring it.
No, yeah, you did. You brought just this to the show today. That's it. I would not have guessed you would have missed Game 6 for a little family time.
Absolutely.
I thought you would have found some way to get there.
No. Eight don't really have an NHL team, so whatever. And I'm dead serious. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band farewell tour with my 11-year-old daughter trumps in.
Good for you.
For me. Anyway, not for everybody.
Yeah.
For me.
No. That leads me to my next question. We got time for this quick?
Oh, well, we got Blevs waiting.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
Yeah, we better because I think
a back-to-back champion waiting.
And this isn't even joking. I think he has a tee time that he's waiting to get this done so he can get out there and golf. Let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. SJHL reports are always for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Right now, just starting in May, employee pricing at Southie Mainline Chrysler. You can go online and find out. They got the Dodge, Ram, Jeeps, and giving back. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed, to Southie, Saskatchewan. Trevor Blevins, head coach of the SJHL champion Melfort Mustangs. Look at you two guys side by side. You guys look like brothers, to be honest with you. Can we screenshot?
I do not take that as a compliment. Thank you so much. That is great.
Shots fired.
How do you start that interview out with that, Shanks? I can't believe it.
But look,
it's usually quick if you start with that.
You're heading to the golf course tonight, probably in good shape. What are you hitting this year? A little cut, little draw? What's in the bag for the head coach of the champs?
I hit a bucket of balls yesterday. I think I shanked about 5 of them, so I don't know where it's going to go today. Could be. I'm going to go to the $2 bin and figure that out with Kubi at the course. We're good.
Hey, there's that one hole though in Melfort. I know. I missed it left, and I've hit it halfway to Smitty's before from that one tee box.
Number 10.
Things are real.
10, yeah.
Where the old bar used to be. You were just getting attracted to it later on the night. That's all you're doing, Jake.
Too many stiff Kubies. Too many stiff Kubies at that thing. Blevs, you're going back to the Centennial Cup.
Yeah.
So close last year. You were close as a player. It's in Calgary. What's the mindset going into this one?
Well, I'm going to win. For us, the 14 guys that were back from last year are just hungry to get it done all year. And it showed through regular season and playoffs, and just the mindset of everyone just every time we got punched in the mouth or we got knocked down, we got back up hard and really reset and came back with a vengeance really all year. And I don't feel that's going to change. We got 6-7 games possibly to do it in over a 2-week period. But we're excited. And, game one is really important. We've got Calgary right away. And that's going to tell us where we're at, what we need to improve on, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and what we need to do to adjust.
I was going to ask you that measuring stick right out of the gate at the Max Bell. I'm sure it'll be a big crowd, the host. I think it's fantastic as well. If there is maybe one or a couple things that group of guys and yourself learned from last year and the grind of going through the tournament, what would it be?
I think the biggest piece is just our nutrition and how much energy we had. We got a great group behind us. We got our team nutritionist, Andrea Benedega, who's kept us full of energy all the way through. And, Lydia, is on the team too. And we got a lot of support that the guys need to pay attention and listen to. But for us, it's about getting reset and having a short-term memory too. If you have success, make sure you're ready for the next one. But if you get knocked down a little bit, it's really important to have a short-term memory loss and get after it the next day.
Trevor, you and I saw each other back in February and saw your team play a couple games. And one of the first words you said was team, right? Like, you've got some legitimate players that have been up near the top of the scoring race all season long. But kind of watching from afar, whether it was that Kindersley series to start it off or all the way to the Weyburn series, you used pretty much your entire team kind of all the way through, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a next man up mentality, for sure. But what I loved about our group was, we had second-year guys and 19-year-olds that could be on power plays on other teams, really, or could have been top six forwards. And how everyone wants those opportunities. But like Austin Shepard and Nolan Patterson and Caleb Binner, I was just thinking about this the other day. Those guys could play for other teams and been in offensive roles for sure. And they chip in offensively, don't get me wrong, but they're the toughest line to play against that I've seen in a long time. And they've been together for 2 years now. And that's just the depth that we have all the way through, I feel. It's just we're an engine that needs to have, I know it's cliche, but it's 4 lines and 6D. And honestly, I'm on the back end and I'm coaching 6 guys that I don't really have to match. They're just all going, they keep rolling. And we're literally at the end of the game, there's pretty close to 20 minutes of ice time each for each guy. So you need that. And we're going to need that in a 2-week span in a tournament like this. And we're super excited.
From a guy that's going into Calgary next week to that young guy that was wearing number 25 back in, what was it, 1995? How's Trevor Blevins enjoying the ride here? How can you compare it player to coach?
Well, it's actually going to be our 3rd crack at it, right? So been there as a player once and a coach once or twice, sorry. So we're going to be, this is my 4th time. Really excited. It's just, you learn as you go every time. But the biggest piece, like you said, is just staying in the moment. I think our guys did a great job all the way through playoffs, not getting ahead of ourselves. Like, we came out on game 5, like we were relentless. There was no nerves. If Shanks can take anything from golf, it's about staying in the moment so you don't, blow up from a previous bad hole or think you're going to, you score your best score in 9 holes or 18 holes and you usually choke it up coming down the stretch. So for us, it's the 5 seconds in front of your face and make sure you take care of that.
The thing that I can take from golf is it would be Waskasiu. There's no out of bounds. That's the motto right there. We've got about 30 seconds here left, Coach. Quickly, it's more than you. And you mentioned the nutritionist, the scouting staff, the assistant coaches, everyone behind that. Throw out some names here. Who's responsible for this return trip?
Well, the board of directors for sure. They make sure the players have what they need. It's a huge board that grants huge support for our team, but also Rick Oakes, man, like he's our director of player personnel. He pieces everything together and does a great job. Ty Sugar, assistant coach, just young guy that this old fart here, it's 50 years old almost, doesn't want to generate a lot of enthusiasm some days, but he brings it, and the guys relate to him. It's sure nice to have, and his knowledge is unreal. But, the players, man, you got to go just as much as they've bought in, man, is impressive. It's been just a pleasure to coach. It is crazy going to the rink every day. I know it's fun when you're winning and whatnot, but it just shows the culture right from everyone there, all 26 guys. They bought in, they deserve it, and we so much appreciate their effort all the way through.
Well, we're going to be following. I know we got one of your guys coming up next week, Blevs. I'm actually excited to watch this game one right out of the gate. I'll be glued to the TV watching that. Congratulations. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. And what is it? Everything breaks to Mustatum? Is that what it is on the greens in Melfort?
Everything breaks forward, man. Everything's back to front. But, it's... I'm actually going to get you back for the Munzy comment at the start of this, because that was just embarrassing. But I heard one thing, though. The guy said you didn't pick any Florida Panthers in your draft there in Kiniston. What's going on with that, Shanks? Like,
it's over.
Do you not know that they're the defending champions?
Donation to the Kinsman Lions Club. That's what it's all about. I'm cooked. I'm absolutely cooked. I'll be trying to find some backdoor gambling sites so I can bet on the Centennial Cup to make that money back. Hit them straight, Blevs. Thanks for doing this, bud.
All right. Thanks very much. Always fun. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, head coach of the Melfort Mustangs heading to the Centennial Cup, Trevor Blevins. We are up against news. We're late. Munzy, we're back in hour two. Arash Madani is going to join us to start. It is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the show on this Thursday. It's Barney, Shynkaruk, Brian Munz, CNC Production Company. On the other side of things here, we're into hour two. Thanks so much. Everybody that's participating, Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. Whether you're giving us your favorite Brooks and Dunn song, missed hour one, you got to go back and listen to it. Or if it's about the CFL draft and the Riders in particular yesterday, Brian says, Rourke, awful pick. Tell me why there is anything good about it. Because if he comes here, he'll be really good. That's why, Brian. How about that? Might take a few years.
Answer.
But if he comes, then you will look foolish. We'll keep this comment for 4 years down the road, and then whoever's sitting in this chair can go back and call you on it. Munzy, we talked to Blevs there, Trevor Blevins, before the top of the hour. He's going to the Melfort golf course. You're a Humboldt guy. You're a guy from that whole area. You played a lot. Humboldt golf course. We were talking earlier, the Humboldt Broncos golf tournament coming up.
Yeah, it's hard to believe our 8th annual is coming up in August. It'll be August 8th and 9th. And our general registration opened today. So how we work it and how we've done it since year one, when everything went down in 2018, is if you're a corporate partner, you have the opportunity to pre-register a team. And then after that, whatever room we have available goes into a lottery, because, we've been fortunate since we've started this event that we've had a waiting list every year. Nice. So we've gone to the lottery system, and today being May the 1st, it's open here. We're going to keep it open for probably 2 or 3 weeks. So anybody that wants to join us, Jared Bednar will be back, obviously, the head coach of the Colorado Avalanche, for the weekend. And hopefully he's got the Stanley Cup with him for a second time. You can just email us, hbgolfmemorial@gmail.com. And Lori Warford, who looks after things behind the scenes for us, will take your information down. And at some point over the next couple of weeks, we'll do that lottery, and we'll look forward to a great weekend again, celebrating everybody that was involved in the bus back in 2018.
Yeah, it's a great time tournament. I know I've planned on going a few times, and then after it's done and I see your pictures, and everyone talks about how awesome it was from Saskatoon that I know, and I'm like,
You should come to the show there on the Friday. Let's see if we can make the schedule work.
I should. I'm going to start. I'll start keeping the cans in the back right now. Oh,
the head coach of the Broncos is calling. Yeah. Maybe jealous. We had Blevins on.
Yeah. Okay. He's going to be jealous if he likes Arash Madani because it's time for a little coast to coast.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Arash.
Munzie's getting calls, and I'm just putting a few investment opportunities down on my cell phone. So that's the difference between the two of us right now.
Attaboy.
That would be two of the three of us are outvoted in that because Barney's probably doing the same thing right now.
I finally won again last night because of the Jets. Here's my little parlay banger last night. Arash. Neil Pionk, shot on net, easy. Kyle Connor, shot on net, easy. Jets to cover, boom. Let's go. Kids are having taco time tonight.
Plus 800. What that do? Puck line and
I don't like talking about all that stuff. Just say, let's just say we're eating the good stuff from taco time tonight.
Oh, we're getting extra sour cream, are we?
Yeah, maybe a little extra meat on the salad.
A Matthews goal, a Tavares goal, a Tkachuk goal tonight pays 22-1.
Oh,
so you've got the Leafs scoring at least twice tonight.
Yeah, which would be a novel concept in these parts, wouldn't it?
And Austin Matthews on an absolute heater. He scored once in the series.
Yeah, once in 5 games. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what's going on. Like, he had a terrific game 1, didn't he? 6 shots on net, something like that. But I'm sorry, even if you are, when you're getting paid the cake, when you got the C, when you're the face of the franchise, they've brought you in for this moment. And he's not a young guy anymore. He's been around it way too long. This has been terrible. Austin Matthews is a big reason why the Leafs have lost the last 2 games, why there's angst in the streets of Toronto right now. Like, it went from people in this city being like, all right, this is a sweep, to making plans for next Tuesday that have nothing to do with hockey.
Wow.
So Winnipeg's kind of the same, right? Because the Jets go 2-0, and then they go to St. Louis. Blues are a good team. We've all known that coming in with the run they went in since the Four Nations. So we talked about it in hour 1. It's been a roller coaster here in the Manitoba capital, kind of leading through into Game 6 tomorrow night. What's the pulse like right now at Toronto?
Panic. Here we go again.
Is it legitimately panic, though?
Yeah.
Is,
like people have given up. Like, they're just, I think more than anything, it had to do with the fact that they got shut out at home on Tuesday night. Like, okay, right. It kind of felt like, honestly, coming into the game on Tuesday, it's like, all right, Ottawa got one. Ottawa got theirs. But then all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute. The better goaltender in this series is by far the Senators guy. There's questions about Stolarz. The Leafs have had trouble scoring 5-on-5. And 34 is MIA. And there's something about, and I think this is great. Okay, this part of it I think is awesome. Brady Tkachuk is very quickly becoming enemy number 1 in this city. Like, Brad Marchand is out and Brady Tkachuk is in. It started with the Four Nations. It has continued here. There is taunting. We're going to be right back here. Like, the Battle of Ontario was something from a generation ago. Like, there was no rivalry between Ottawa and Toronto. in the last 2 games alone, Brady Tkachuk has allowed that to kind of reignite. And I think that's just awesome.
Finish this sentence, sir. If Ottawa wins at home tonight, then
it's going to be awesome to listen to Leaf fans for the 48 hours that follow. Like you want angst, and you want like the calls that will be made to therapists, the PTSD that will come back. Like, remember, the Leafs led 3-0. No one gives up a 3-0 series lead. How good would that be if it goes to Game 7?
Colson.
Oh yeah,
Colson just brought up a really good point.
I think you'd get some more Columbus Blue Jackets gear, wouldn't you, Arash?
I didn't make any wagers on this one. Colson's a great memory. Yeah. I actually think my God, like the Leafs are so much better than this with their firepower. But like, man, I mean, look, I like chaos. I think an Ottawa win tonight would just be so much fun because
Okay, let's play a quick game here. Around the horn. We'll start with Munzy. How much do you think to get into the building tonight? I'm looking at Fans First, Canadian site. To get into Ottawa tonight, upper zone, you need a ticket. You're a Lone Ranger, going by yourself, grabbing a popcorn and a pint. How much to get in?
In the upper deck?
Yes.
$100.
Oh,
Brian Munz. Are you serious?
Top seat, single seat,
Yeah.
far corner of the building.
Okay. Now mark it down. Munzy's going with 100.
Okay,
go,
well,
Arash.
apparently
Arash goes 289.
Colson?
I'll do 325.
I was going to say 312.75.
If we are going Prices Right rules, where you can't go over, Munzy wins. Munzy basically bet $1. He's that guy that bets $1 on the Prices Right. 255 gets you in. 255 gets you into the barn tonight. But compared to Toronto, and then how are they doing it again? They're kind of squeezing out Leaf fans, or trying to.
They're trying to. So you can't transfer a ticket to somebody with a 416-905-647 phone number. It's not going to fully work, but they're trying to limit it.
Just get a burner.
What do we think of that? Like overall in sports? Because other teams have tried to do that in the past too, right? Like football, it's huge in football. NFL
It's
down
huge.
south. Yeah.
So my brother-in-law is from Edmonton, is a huge Oiler fan. And last year I was asking around about getting him to the Cup final. And everybody I asked said it would be cheaper for him to fly to Miami to watch a game there than it would be to watch it in Edmonton. I mean, there are people who make a cottage industry around here of doing like going down, doing the Florida-Tampa back-to-back over three nights, get some golf in, et cetera, when their team goes down and play, because the get-in price for a top of the lower bowl, right? Not on the glass, not the golds, not the platinums, top of the lower bowl here, a face value seats like $675 per. And that doesn't include your soda pops and your parking and your Ubers and your dinners and all those things.
If it goes to Game 7 right now on the site that I'm in, if you bought an upper deck seat, $458. Not bad.
Yeah.
That's to get into the barn for Game 7. Lower zone, lower zone, you're $1,000.
That number goes up if on Friday, especially on Saturday.
What a wild ride. What a wild ride in Toronto.
This about MLSE, they'll let anybody in the building as long as they pay.
Exactly. Yeah.
How much do you think you can get in to watch the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche? Upper deck.
In Denver or in Dallas?
In Dallas.
$59 US.
Listening to a little Brooks and Dunn at a tailgate, probably having a few pints, then walking in.
Ice girls,
jean shorts. Me, not anyone else. But I'll go $89.
132.
Really?
Americano or Canadian?
Yeah. Probably American, I would guess. No, it's Canadian.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good deal to watch those two teams.
Oh, yeah. That'd be nice to be in that rink. Real nice to be in that rink. If Toronto wins, if Ottawa wins, whoever, I can't even say this with a straight face. I was going to say I was on Florida from the start. I wasn't. I took Tampa heavy everywhere. Is anyone beating Florida, Arash? Like, they look good.
Yeah, they look good. They look good. I wonder how much the miles of the last two cup runs may affect them come late May and June. I think the fact that Matthew Tkachuk had basically sat for 2 months of the regular season was the best thing that happened to them. Didn't take too many beatings, too many poundings. I'll tell you this, guys, I just feel like the Tampa Bay Lightning that we've known, that had its run, that won 2 cups and got to, one or two others, I think they're done. Obviously, Stamkos is now in Nashville. They re-upped Hedman. They brought in Gunsel, but it wouldn't surprise me if a year from now, John Cooper's no longer the coach of the Lightning and they just kind of let it all kind of start all over. It just feels like the end of the era for that nucleus, for that group.
So I was listening today, and both you guys can jump in on this, and it's one sports show was like, well, it could be the end of, Cooper's time in Florida and Tampa. Who in the right mind would get rid of that guy? Like, and who are you replacing him with? Like, he would be unemployed for literally 4.5 minutes.
But it may not be John.
He's never going to get fired.
Right. John
It might
Cooper's
be his. Yeah.
Right. He's up at the end of next year. And like you talk about being a sought-after free agent, we always talk about that as a player.
No doubt.
I think John Cooper especially, look, whether this has anything to do with it or not, I just think from an optics standpoint, from a branding standpoint, if John Cooper and Team Canada win gold at the Olympics next year, coming off of winning the Four Nations, coming off of winning a couple of Stanley Cups, is there an owner out there who's just going to almost give him, and I know we're not supposed to use this name anymore, but give him the Mike Babcock Toronto treatment? Just open up the Brinks truck and say, all right, come here and do the exact same thing. Everyone's looking for an instant fix. Everyone's looking for a copy paste. I can see an owner doing that. Whether or not they're going to get the same results, I don't know. But I could see a scenario in which that unfolds. What about you, Munzy?
Absolutely. And it's almost too bad that it wasn't 1 year different, because right now there's 8 teams in the league that are looking for a coach.
Yeah.
Like, he could just sit on the beach in Tampa right now and wait for all these guys to come down and talk to him if he wanted to. Now, in saying that, and Arash, you've been there because we've been down in Tampa at the same time for playoffs over the years. John Cooper likes living in Tampa Bay, Florida, too. I can tell you that. And that's the life that he has down there, what he's able to do. It wouldn't surprise me at some point, and you guys have brought this up with kind of the roster that's there right now, when the itch is over to coach, that he just goes to TNT and they give him that whole Brinks truck that you just talked about to talk hockey with Gretzky, who he lives with at the same place in the summer, all those guys that, I wouldn't be blown away if somebody just said that he's had enough and he's going to go work 1 day a week and enjoy life.
Yeah, it could be. That's a great call. And do that for a year.
I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah. But he might just do that for a year or two. Like, look, the amazing part about being a professional sports coach is if you sit out a year, especially if you have a ring, think about how much smarter you get. You're in front of everybody on a regular basis. You're talking about the game. Owners think you're smarter. You haven't lost a game an entire year. The perception, for 15, maybe more, almost 20 years, every single NFL coaching cycle, they're like, well, Bill Cowher. And Bill Cowher's like, cool, guys, I get it. I haven't lost a game, but I ain't leaving TV. I'm done with the coaching thing. As much as Cooper likes Tampa, Munzie, I bet he'd like Anaheim or LA just as much if they opened up the wallets, you know?
So the highest paid coach right now was, or is, because he's got 2 years left on his deal with Pittsburgh yet, Mike Sullivan's making $5.5 million.
Right.
Bruce Cassidy's at 4.5 in Vegas. Torts was at 4, and then Rick Tocchet just left $3 million in Vancouver, and he's obviously going to get a job somewhere if he wants it, or maybe he goes to do television for a year or two because he's done with the drama that he just dealt with in Vancouver for the year. So it's intriguing to me what that top end number is going to be now for some of these players or some of these coaches that are managing these $1 million entities.
Tell you what, if Chicago continue, look, Chicago is in a rebuild. If Chicago, they got money in that organization. Whether or not they're going to spend it is a different story. To me, a place like Chicago is a landing spot. Vancouver, if they sell the team, would be a terrific landing spot for a guy with BC roots. I don't know. Look, the one that always comes to me, it comes back to, is Toronto. There is every single coach I have ever spoken to who has worked in the league for a minute or for an entire lifetime, they talk about wanting to win here and how different it would be. And every coach has a healthy ego, and every coach is convinced they can do it. Imagine John Cooper here. The lawyer versus the city. I like it.
I think you could say the same with Montreal.
Doesn't speak French. Non-starter.
Yeah.
Can I read some of these texts we're getting in here? This is awesome.
Is that a giggle?
Travis, big giggle guy. Travis, he's a lifelong Leafs fancy. 35 years old, barely seen a conference finals that I can remember. I'm not even watching tonight. It's over. Something is wrong with this team and group. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Travis, solid text. Travis, you're going to get a text from somebody who says, did you see that goal from Matthews? And you're going to be like the whiplash to the TV to get the remote going. You're going to flip over your phone. You want to get on your social, the replay of the goal. Travis, I get it. It's all part of the healing process. You're just fooling yourself.
Matthews is going to score twice tonight, and Toronto's going to win. I'm just telling you.
As long as Kachuk and JT score too, everybody's a winner tonight. 22-1.
That's right. Yes.
There's a bunch of people saying that Ottawa's not losing tonight. This game is so intriguing. Okay, now here is Gerald's text. Now let's let this sink in, and then we talk about it. As a hockey fan, I'm wondering if we want to watch hockey with speed and talent or goons claiming to play hockey. We are losing a lot of fans because of the caliber of hockey. Might as well watch wrestling. I'm going to say it's never been more popular. Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal. I watch the American feeds all the time because I can't stand a couple of the, anyways. I
don't work there anymore, Barney. Hey, Barney, I don't work there anymore.
I know. Okay. I watched the LA Edmonton series definitely on TBS, TNT, wherever. But it has never been more popular. Americans are absolutely, and I bet you this has been maybe less than 10 years. TNT's done a heck of a job. And then how they pair it over with the basketball guys that are in the other set. They love playoff hockey down there. Like, they are just all in. And then you have these markets like Florida and Tampa. I disagree with Gerald. What do you guys think?
Go ahead.
I think the NHL has not broken into the mainstream nationally. The NHL in the United States is a lot like baseball from the standpoint of it is market driven and only that. Here's what I mean by that. Outside of, Munz is talking about Dallas, Colorado. Outside of the state of Texas, nobody in America is watching the Dallas Stars. Outside of the state of Florida, no one's watching or following the Tampa Bay Lightning. I get what Turner's doing. It's a smart crossover. All those things are great. There isn't maybe Ovechkin kind of moved the needle for a minute on the goal, the historic goal run this year. And I think the Four Nations, with the timing of it being during NBA All-Star after Super Bowl, that was cool for like 72 hours. But right now, there's more interest in what happened in the third round of the NFL draft, and definitely Shedeur Sanders sliding, than anything to do with pucks south of the border. What do you say, Munz? You spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think the NHL is trying everything they can. And when you've got Charles Barkley on there talking about it, like, I don't know about you guys, but I just think Barkley is so entertaining, whether he's got the crazy idea or you've got Shaq Hyman coming out and doing something that's ridiculous, that if it was on a Canadian broadcast, you'd be like, what are they trying to do here? It works, and it is going. And I put the four fingers up because the Four Nations was unreal, talking to a lot of the American broadcasters and people that work in the States. And, they've said the same thing. Like, they're trying, like they've done for the last 100 and some years, to try and get people more excited about it south of the border. But I think you did nail it on the head, though. I think it's, if you're not having success with your current team that's involved right now, then you don't really care, right? Like, when the Washington Capitals are done and this whole Ovechkin thing's over, I'm really curious to see what the Capitals are going to be like.
They'll be fine.
And it might be the same conversation we had with Tampa, right? Like, they've got 4 legitimate NHL players. And hold on, let me take that back, because everybody that plays in the league is an NHL player that the three of us would have loved to do just once. Barney just wanted to take warm up.
Just warm up.
Yeah, that's it. How about, did you hear that earlier on today, Madani?
What's that?
He didn't want to play pro sports. He just wanted to take part. He wanted to be on the team.
Chikai. Of course I wanted to play pro sports. Everybody wants to play. Being a realist, there was a point in my life that I was like, man, wouldn't it just be cool to just warm up? Just pull some sort of card.
Bullpen catch.
Yeah.
Barney's the guy who just wanted to walk across the stage, get the jersey, ruffle it up, get it over his head, get the pose for the photo with everybody. That's he didn't even want the warm up. He just wanted to pass.
I like
golf club.
I don't know.
That wasn't a no.
Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm okay. We are like getting long in the tooth here, and I want to get your comments on the CFL draft, especially Curtis Rourke.
Yeah. I heard whoever texted in being all up in arms about it.
There's been a few people.
Why
most
not?
Most people like the move.
You have the CFL draft, first of all, is an altogether crapshoot. Like, you have people who, after 1 year of being in the league as a first-round pick, say, okay, it's been cool, I'm going to go be a firefighter now. Like, so let's just take that into consideration. Okay, let's remember the economics of it. 2, how many quote-unquote star quarterbacks are there in the league right now? And if you have a chance, if Curtis can continue to play at the level he did last year at Indiana and get up here, great. How many franchise quarterbacks will exist in this league in 2 or 3 years? I'm not sure. So it's all upside. It is absolutely all upside to take this kid. And if it ends up working out, it'll be incredible. And if it doesn't end up working out, who cares?
I like the Algersma pick in Winnipeg around later as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? We can get onto that too next week. Like I said, we're late here. We got some Rider stuff coming up. Arash, I am so curious what happened. I get to watch almost all of that game before. I don't get to watch the Kings and Leafs, or the Kings and Oilers, because I'm taking my daughter to a concert. But Leafs, Sens, please text me if there's any like vehicles burning and stuff by you. Like send me that text, that video, please.
I definitely will. It's like thunderstorms right now, so at least it might take away from downtown vitriol.
Gloomy skies, roll over Toronto. It's writing itself. See, Arash, have a good weekend, bud. We'll catch up next week.
All right, Shakespeare.
Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian. We'll go to break. We got Dave Thomas and new Rough Rider draft pick, Seth Hundeby. When we come back, it is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. Clutch performer for me, Western Hockey League. We haven't talked about it yet in our Western Hockey League reports. It's over. Medicine Hat Tigers, Gavin McKenna, Tanner Molendyke, everybody there. They only lost one game.
A good Winnipeg Ice defenseman.
They lost one game in the postseason, and it was against the Swift Current Broncos. 2 for 2 on the power play yesterday. McKenna had an assist, an empty netter. Clutch performer. Medicine Hat Tigers probably going to play the Spokane Chiefs. They have a chance to sweep Portland tonight. Speaking of clutch performers, Berkeley Catton, Andrew Crystal. Catton's got 35 points. Crystal's got 34. McKenna's got 34. Yeah. What a race in the Western Hockey League. It's going to be so good.
Brad Lauer, Humboldt, Saskatchewan. Head coach of the Chiefs, has them going. I've watched a lot of their games, actually, just because I know Lau, obviously. They're good, and they're fun to watch. We had Dawson Cowan when I was with the Ice as a 16-year-old goalie, and obviously playing behind some guys, Daniel Hauser, that set the all-time record for wins with eventually the Calgary Hitmen this year. Cowan moved on, and boy, he's turned himself into a goalie, got drafted. So, that's going to be an outstanding series to see when it comes to fruition. My clutch performer, do you want past or going to happen tonight?
Either or.
I'm going to mess up the world. I'm going to say Austin Matthews has at least 2, and the Leafs end it.
All right. Write it down in the book. Write it down in the book. Colson, clutch performers always for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Let's get going with NASCAR.
The Sports Cage NASCAR Report, where rubbin' is racing, is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. Visit croftelectric.com and on all socials.
Saw the Croft crew out working at a place the other day, all buttoned up. Croft Electric, thanks so much for sponsoring our NASCAR report. No Sharky today on this Friday. But we got to give everybody a little piece of Sharky. It's Thursday.
Thank you.
What did I say day it was?
You said it was Friday.
Oh, buddy.
Thursday. I'm in the road.
I'm 24 hours ahead of things. You're the one that's probably 3 sheets to the wind or darn near in Edmonton there, and I'm the one giving wrong days to people.
Munzy's the one that's been drinking. 2 goals by Matthews. Not going to happen, baby. Not going to happen.
That's Brian Munz. Not Dave. But you can be like Maz and just call everybody Dave. That goes well.
I said Munzy. Yeah.
Okay. What do we got for the NASCAR report live from Edmonton, Sharky?
You know what? We had a great race in Talladega last weekend. It was actually pretty unique in that there was only 4 cautions on that big super speedway, which doesn't happen very often. Ford cars got in the front. Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, and Ryan Preece. Cindric and Ryan Preece were able to hold off 2 Chevys, and Cindric got the win. Preece was then disqualified, as was Joey Logano for doing something wrong with their spoiler. One had an extra shim. The other one didn't tighten the nut down, and so they go to dead last. Nice work, boys. For Cindric, a big win because that puts him into the playoffs. He was in there last year, and that's a great place to win is Talladega. It's a very unique opportunity. Now we go back to a normal NASCAR track, a 1.5-mile speedway. We're going to Texas this weekend. So look for the usuals to come out on top. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, who had a crash at Talladega, should be back in the mix, as will William Byron. There are no long shots this week. This is a favorites racetrack, so pick the boys you think are going to win. And by the way, Brooks and Dunn, I believe.
Brooks and Dunn, what?
I believe. I believe is the song. That's my favorite.
Are we talking around the same band? Brooks and Dunn, they ever sing that song? Okay, I'm going to have to play it and look it up. It must be a hidden gem.
No, it's out there, and I can strum it on the guitar at home in the garage late at night when nobody's listening.
No. Now you just opened up a can of worms. You're going to bring said guitar into the studio, and you're going to do it one day for us. That's how it's going to shake down.
I'll auctioneer, but I will not play the guitar live. No.
We'd be fools if for Croft Electric we didn't get an update right now. What's the atmosphere like in Edmonton?
The streets are starting to fill is the best way to put it. The streets are starting to fill. There are jerseys everywhere. Traffic has picked up dramatically as people head to the downtown. So I am looking forward to a very exciting night at Rogers Place for Game 6.
Sharky, I want you to get after it tonight like it is Friday. Okay?
It is in my book.
Treat tomorrow like Saturday, bud. Have a good one. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks, boys. Cheers, and I'll see you next week.
That is for Croft Electric. Always trusted. 27 years. Reliable service in and around Regina. At croftelectric.com and on all the socials. Okay, we're going to go to break now. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Seth Hundeby with Dave Thomas. It's the Sports Cage. We are streaming at sportscage.com. Hammer that like button on YouTube, please. And if you can't, you just pick us up on the old radio, 620 CKRM. People are probably thinking we're playing another country hit, and if it was, it would be probably a little Neon Moon from Brooks and Dunn. All right, teased it enough. Yesterday, the Saskatchewan Roughriders took them from the University of Saskatchewan. We got Dave Thomas with Seth Hundeby.
Hey, thanks very much, Barney. Seth Hundeby here at the Dogs Breakfast. 1,400 people show up to have breakfast. Does that still amaze you?
Oh, man, every time. You know, like the event that gets put on is unparalleled to a lot of things that I've gotten to go to, and I'm super happy I've gotten to go to 5 of these now, so they're super fun event for sure.
Pretty interesting week. You have breakfast with 1,400 people just 48 hours after hearing your name called in the Canadian Football League draft. What's it been like?
Man, it's super duper cool. Like the boys have been super duper like giving me congratulations and stuff. So like just having that support from like my friends, family, and like guys on the team, and really like everyone. It's been super duper fantastic.
Take me through the whole process for you. Obviously, you put your time in playing the game, but then you prepared for the combine where you showed extremely well. That translates into you being selected. Take me through the entire process.
Yeah, so that's just kind of like the beginning of like, you know, like every year ever since like getting to U Sports, you just kind of take it 1 year at a time, give it that best you can, 100%. Now getting the opportunity to go to a combine and training for that's just kind of the beginning of what I feel like I can do and kind of my future. So now the real work begins, and I'm really excited to join the Riders for training camp, so should be a really good time.
When you were going to that combine and through the process, you were kind enough to give us some time beforehand. Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, I was really happy with that. I showed the way that I knew I could show. You know, like on any given day, some days you feel good, some days you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and don't test as well. But I'm just happy that it reflected the work that I put in and kind of my ability. So I was quite happy with how it went at the combine.
You had an opportunity to talk to a lot of teams, did you?
Yeah, I actually got an opportunity to talk to all 9 of the teams. They're super fantastic. It was really fun. Just even getting to meet some of these like people, like, you know, you see them on TV and like better faces and names and kind of get to know their personality a little bit more. So it was a really cool opportunity.
Your teammate, Daniel Weeb, really turned the head of the Saskatchewan Roughriders when he was asked, what do you think about being a smaller receiver? And he said, well, you know Weston Dressler is the guy, right? Any questions come up for you that you felt you did very well with?
Honestly, there was a lot of questions over like the entire thing, and like the one reassuring thing was I should have all the answers because they're relatively questions about me. So I just answered honestly and openly. Nothing was too crazy, and yeah, just kind of try to have a good time throughout the process.
You are a power engineering student at the University of Saskatchewan. The intention is for you to return to school, correct?
Yeah, so I got a little bit over like 1 year of mechanical engineering left, and so to go back to school, get a whole bunch done, that's going to open up some future, like getting some classes done in the winter, and then pursuing a CFL career after. That's the plan, riding it out as long as it'll have me.
Am I going to get fined for saying power engineering over mechanical engineering?
No, I think you'll be okay, yeah.
But is that a difficult decision to, like, again, they're obviously playing in the Canadian Football League is a dream, right?
Oh, man, yeah. So definitely, like, the thing for me was recognizing that football will come to an end at some point, and I want to do something that I'm passionate about, something I'm good at, and engineering really kind of had a calling to me, so I just got to secure that, put it in the back pocket, and then pursue football for however long it'll have me.
Well, you said to me earlier about even in high school, you weren't aware or didn't even consider at one point that football might be an option after high school, so how has this come about?
You know, every day just kind of take it for what it's worth, give it 100%, and, you know, like, just every opportunity that arises, like, take full advantage of it, and I feel like I've done a good job of that, whether it be, like, going out for Team SAS, Team Canada, getting onto the Huskies, and, you know, just enjoying the process, because, like, football is the best sport there is or ever will be, so having fun while you're doing it is a big part of it.
So your name is called in the 4th round. What happens after you see your name come up on that board? Did you get a call?
Yeah, I got a call, and, like, I kind of looked like the Riders, like, they were up, and in the 3rd round is a little bit tough of, like, they were moving pretty fast, so I actually thought that the Riders had maybe moved on just the amount of time that they had gone, and then, yeah, so I saw Corey's Mace number come up, and, like, holy cow, my heart just started beating fast, and, yeah, I had a little bit of a misclick of some screen came up. I was like, I got to get rid of this. I got to answer Corey Mace. Technically declined the call the first time, but then he called back right away, and then I answered that one for sure. So it was a little bit of a panic, but it was super duper amazing to hear his voice, and yeah, it was a great opportunity and great experience.
So to clarify, you hung up on the head coach when he called you?
Technically, yes. Yeah, not my best thing. We actually joked like, oh man, that'd be terrible if that happened. Then doing it, my heart kind of sank. But then yeah, he was good about it. He called me back right away. So yeah, kind of a funny story, but I'm happy everything worked out.
We are less than a week away from rookie camp. Will you be there?
Yes, they invited me to go, and I'd love to get that experience. And yeah.
What do you think that you can bring? What do you want to show, whether it be at rookie camp or in the future with the Saskatchewan Roughriders?
You know, I have a lot of passion for football. I love running to the ball. I think I'm big, fast, strong, physical. And I just love putting my love for the game on tape. So if I get more opportunities, then I think that's what you're going to see.
I know this is a really difficult question to answer, and the fact that you were honored with a team award for what you do and the glue that you bring to the dressing room. How proud does that make you?
Man, you know, like looking at the list of guys who've won that like award, just to being a part of them, you know, like Glen Suitor himself is like such an amazing guy. So it means a lot to be like named like in similarity with them as well. And you know, I think there's a lot of guys on this team who could also have been like nominated as well. So being the person to get that official nomination, it means a lot.
Jeremy O'Day and Coach Mace brought you up on the stage to present you with a Saskatchewan Roughrider jersey. Surreal moment?
Oh man, it was super duper cool. Like both of them, talked to them, they seem like down to earth guys, super excited to work with their program and kind of give them everything I got when it comes to football.
Unlike Nick Weeb a year ago, they didn't give you your number because it's occupied by Micah Johnson, but you're okay with that?
Yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete, and obviously like I would just be happy as long as I get a jersey at the end of the day.
Seth Hundeby, congratulations on your selection into the Canadian Football League. All the best this season and moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back for Access Communications. Munz still there? Munz still with us, CNC production company. The Brooks and Dunn thing really struck her. How did it start today, Colson? How did the whole Brooks and Dunn, it started right at the first segment.
Yeah. I think Munz started it.
Oh, the concert. Yeah. That's the St. Louis. The schedule was beneficial for the Blues so far because there was a Brooks and Dunn concert in St. Louis. Then we started going down the rabbit hole of good Brooks and Dunn songs. Was that it?
Right. Yeah, there was 2 days between games. So they went back. They had 1 day off in Winnipeg. And then the Jets flew to St. Louis for game 3. And then there was one of those, like sometimes you'll see it later in the playoffs if there's a conflict with the NBA final or something like that due to American television. But in round 1, it was an oddity. So, yeah, there was an extra day because Brooks and Dunn held out the Jets and the Blues from game 4.
So Sharky, he thought that I was whacked out because I didn't know the song I Believe. And
I've
I'm
heard
like,
that one.
Because it's Just Believe. That's why, Sharky, the song is called Just Believe.
No, Believe. No Just.
Oh, I thought you said just. Oh, okay.
You don't even know what
the title of the song is "Believe."
But when they started playing it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good ballad, nice song. But we had some great text messages. Runaway favorite, I think, is "Brand New Man." So far,
yeah.
Brooks.
I would agree with that 100%.
Would you? Like Neon Moon?
No. Brand New Man is my number one.
What do you want,
It's got a great start to it. It's got a great start.
Oh, I thought you had a Brooks. I was like, you have a Brooks and Dunn song? I'm like, you have a man bun. There's no way you listen to Brooks and Dunn. And then Nitty Gritty Dirt Band tonight. Like, it just gets better and better. So 936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. If you got anything to say, we're also taking calls on the Leafs tonight. Well, I don't know. And also Curtis Rourke.
What time is Fishing in the Dark going to hit the stage?
I don't think
10.
I don't think they close. I don't think they close with that. That I was trying to look at the set list from what they've been playing so far. I think it's like the second to last song. So then we'll slink out maybe a little early. I'm giving away the secrets here. Who knows? Maybe they'll switch it up for Regina. They'll do a bunch of covers, right? You never know. You never know. So 936-6262. Hour 3, right around the corner. We're going to start with Glen Suitor live in studio. That's a first. He's got some great stories from the Dog's Breakfast up in Saskatoon this morning. Big party last night. Glenn will be here. It is the Sports Cage. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing at the YouTube channel, sportscage.com. And we are on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Hour 3 of the Cage. That's right. Thanks to Access Communications. The sponsor on Thursday, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Munz. Brian Munz has been with me today. The C's are here. We're going to get to our special guest in studio in a moment. And keep the text messages coming, because this is blowing me away. How people want to chime in on their favorite Brooks and Dunn song. Like, it's trumping in on the CFL draft comments, although a lot of people are kind of going back and forth on the Curtis Rourke thing. We're going to get into that here in a bit. 936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. It's Husqvarna days on right now at Prairieland Rentals. Since 1986, you get to deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. You know, the one that I forgot that a number of people have said is their hidden gem or their best song? Lost and Found. And that I concur. That is one that is somewhat forgotten at times. Like I said, it is Prescott. Are we going to play the intro for him, even though he's here? He's in studio. Let's play the fancy intro.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
In studio, Glenn, and you were listening on the way. You said from Saskatoon.
Oh yeah,
you got a lot. You got experience with Brooks and Dunn. That's where we're going to start. You've seen them live. Top shelf.
First of all, I'm listening in to the number ones at one.
Colin.
Yeah, with Colin, and also beautiful, great. The old stuff playing through there too. Loved it. And then the show comes on, and you guys start talking about Brooks and Dunn. Well, I saw Brooks and Dunn a couple of times. Once in Las Vegas when they were there, doing their residency there. Yep. Yeah, and then we went to the songs, and I'm thinking, well, Brand New Man. Big hit for me. That was number one for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, for sure. And my son being in Nashville and playing the honky tonks, he would always play the newer stuff because he liked that better. And so I would always try to pull him back to like the Garth Brooks and the Brooks and Dunn stuff. And so I had to actually pay in the tip jar when he was playing in the honky tonks to get a request from my own son to say, hey, give me a little Brooks and Dunn. And he would always defer to Brand New Man. So I think that's why it's embedded in my head that is my favorite song. First of all, Ronnie Dunn, best singer in country music, like best vocalist in country music. I like I Just Believe, or whatever that's called.
The song that doesn't really have a title, but everybody kind of knows what it is.
So I love that one. And you know, when Ronnie Dunn did his solo album, or I don't know how many he's done, but one of the ones he did, Cost of Living, is a fantastic song. The vocal in that is outstanding. Another ballad. And you know, if we ever get in the kitchen, Barney, with the guitar, I'm bringing out Cost of Living from Ronnie Dunn.
Well, then we got to sit in the same kitchen, because then allegedly Sharky can sing Believe or whatever he's talking of.
That's a big song, Sharky. Man, I hear you. That's a big vocal
Sharky
song.
said he could play it. He said he wouldn't sing it. He said he could play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we need a singer for that one.
Sharky, come
Bring
on.
your son in. Hey, bring your son in.
My son
Get
could
him
do
to
it. Yeah, my son could.
We should. He should play that Pepsi stage at one of the Rider games.
Oh, that'd be.
Or get him to play the party in the park.
I'll take care of the travel. Let's get him in here.
It was in hour one that Trisha mentioned that Lost and Found and Neon Moon, and then she said she definitely can two-step. Here's a hidden gem from Tanya. Whiskey Under the Bridge.
Oh,
that might have been the one that I was thinking of that I couldn't spit out in hour one. Damn good song from Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know legally you can't do this because of the YouTube thing, but you need 5-10 seconds right now to kind of chime everybody's memory to what
prime the pump.
What it is, right? Yeah.
Have I Just Believe? Or
that's right.
936-6262 if you want to get in on the Brooks and Dunn chat. And then the one though that I play something country. Does Kix Brooks sing that one actually too? That one should be punted.
Kix Brooks would be fun around a campfire, I think. He'd be fun. I mean, I bet you he's telling the jokes in between songs and stuff, telling the stories.
He's the entertainer.
Yeah, and then he looks at Ronnie and cues him, and
he'd be shot guy.
Yeah.
He'd be the guy that he made Jello shots, and he keeps going around the campfire with Jello shots. That guy or girl.
Yeah.
So, Barney, you probably or might not, maybe you did, maybe you didn't know this, but when you mentioned Suits was coming in studio, I remember there was some times when I was with the Jets in Nashville that you were down there visiting your son, so we'd catch up at the odd place, or you'd hear stories of kind of where everybody was back and forth. So for the fact that this is the number one country music station in Saskatchewan, Rider legend, all adding into each other, give us some Nashville stories from when you've been down there. Like, have you run across some of these big names? Like, who have you had a chance to kind of rub shoulders with down there?
Well, I was down there, but I'm dad, right? So when I'm dad in Nashville, it's a completely different thing. I was down there for some of their country festivals.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they put the big stage down at the bottom of Broadway. And then they have another stage at the top of Broadway, and every honky-tonk. And since I've been there, it's been a few years now, but since I've been there, there's so many more. I mean, Garth Brooks has one, and all the big names really have a honky-tonk on Broadway or around Broadway. And those big bands, like when they were out there, I mean, the guys were out there, Blake Shelton and the Brooks and Dunn, and they were playing. And you could see the biggest names in country music all in about 2 blocks during the festival. During that time, I'm sitting in a honky-tonk called Legends Corner, which is right across from the hockey arena.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's Kitty Corner.
Yeah, right across. And we went to Preds games all the time, by the way. It was excellent because he had a college deal, so we got real cheap tickets. And how about having a marketing edge when you're a Predators PR person? You make a call and Tim McGraw plays in between the first and second period. I mean, that's not fair. But I was in the honky-tonk listening to my son sing Brand New Man when Brooks and Dunn were outside on the street singing Brand New Man. That was weird.
That's pretty cool.
They weren't singing together, but he just happened to be playing the song, and they're outside, and my buddies are going, let's go watch Brooks and Dunn, and I'm dad, so I'm going, no, I'd rather hear my son's version of it.
Yeah. When you were in you too, when you were calling games there, did you ever go to Robert's Western World? It's the one, it's next to Tootsie's. It's old school, and they have the grill and the bologna sandwiches. Like at midnight when you're just absolutely buckled, and they start making bologna sandwiches, and it's like, just throw it in my veins.
Wow, that whole thing, like all the way from Bridgestone Arena down across the bridge now where the Titans, the NFL team, are.
Yeah.
And then how about the Predators this week announced they're spending close to $1 billion with renovations to Bridgestone Arena. They're putting the hotel in there. They're doing the whole ball of wax to the current, like close to with a B. Close to $1 billion they're putting into that place.
You know, their marketing department, outstanding. My son got this college deal. He went to Belmont University, and he got this college deal. So they had him on their phone list, and they put my name on because Dad was paying, even though it was really discounted, but it was the college deal. I still get texts constantly from the Predators with updates on tickets, deals on tickets. Here's how you can get your tickets. Like, that was years ago. I mean, 5 or 6 years ago. They're still, and I won't unsubscribe because, you know, I mean, get some concert breaks or whatever.
Oh, yeah, you'd be stupid.
Absolutely.
Why?
That's just business.
Take those emails forever.
Yeah, exactly.
What, to wrap the Brooks and Dunn, what was your favorite, again, Munzie, from hour one?
Brand new man.
Brand new mine.
Another vote, yeah.
And then for some, all good.
My Maria's in there, like it's kind of one of those.
End of, now you're going to listen to the end of My Maria, and it's going to annoy you. Watch, I tell you, he just keeps saying the same thing over and over. My Next Broken Heart, awesome song. That Whiskey Under the Bridge, Tanya said, that's a good one. But That Ain't No Way to Go, could be mine. Lipstick Letter Across the Mirror This Morning, Said Goodbye Baby, You Left Without Warning, Like a Thief in the Night, You Ran Away with My Heart.
Oh,
like that poor guy.
I need a tissue.
How do you bounce back from that? Let's move on to the CFL and the CFL draft and the Dogs Breakfast. Dogs Breakfast. Luke Wilson on the show yesterday with Maz and Dave. Awesome segment. Yeah. Great interview. What was he like as the guest speaker?
He was outstanding. And he got up there with Coach Flory, and they did some film work, too. So they're watching highlights from the Super Bowl where they blew out Denver, that game. Mm-hmm. And they also got to the Marshawn Lynch 1-yard line. But he tells a great story, and I'll give you the sort of the Cole's notes of it. But he tells a story about John Ryan, who was their punter at the time. And they had that fake against, they had practiced all week against the Packers in the playoff game. They had the fake field goal.
Yep.
So I guess they were calling that fake field goal because it's two Canadians. Luke Wilson was actually supposed to be the number one target on the fake field goal. So John Ryan was supposed to take the snap, roll out, and throw it to Luke. Unless the defense shifted, then he goes the opposite direction to an offensive lineman who is now eligible playing on the outside. So he's telling this story, and he goes, because we were Canadians, the coach in the locker room says, you know what we're going to call this? We're going to call this play the Pam Anderson. So they're all excited because it's going to be Canadian throwing to Canadian in a big play in this playoff game. So they call the Pam Anderson, and he comes into the huddle and he says, it's Pam Anderson, it's Pam Anderson. And then the defense shifts, and Luke Wilson said, I don't know if I was more excited about that we were running this play and it was such a big play in the game with the touchdown, or that it didn't actually come to me because I was so pumped up about running the Pam Anderson. He tells the story way better, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I love it. That's just such a good. I'm just watching the video. I had my volume up. Sorry, everybody. Because I remember that play. Because Green Bay was supposed to be the team playing the Patriots in that Super Bowl. They played that shootout at Lambeau on a Sunday night a month before, and it was Brady, Rodgers, back, forth, snip, snap. And then Seattle pulled it out.
Yeah.
And then it was showdown in Arizona. Patriots win. Malcolm Butler.
He also told a real quick one, too, on the Marshawn Lynch play on the 1-yard line or whatever, the 2-yard line, whatever it was. And he was saying he thought that talent-wise, the Seahawks were better the next year than they were in the first two, including the game that they beat Denver. He thought from a talent perspective, they were better in that third year and that they should have gone back for a third straight year. And he said that one play, that one call where they didn't go to Marshawn Lynch and they threw for an interception against the Patriots, that, he said, blew up our locker room. He said we became an individual sort of setup in the locker room because of that call. He thinks that call was the reason that team kind of just disappeared after that.
I've never hugged somebody that I don't know, a male, longer and harder than when
the interception.
when we were listening, because we were in the top deck
Oh, yeah, you were there,
You
yeah.
could kind of see it from the far end, and we had the earpiece in because they give you to listen to the feed of the game. Quite great. And it was like, back to pass. It's intercepted.
Yeah.
And we both, and he was from El Paso, Texas. He was probably 280, 6'4".
So you weren't touching hands on the other side of that hug.
He grabbed me like I was a little teddy bear. And he were just like, yeah, we don't know each other, but man, did we hug it out.
So Luke says on that play, he was running a corner route on the opposite side of the field. He says he thinks he was the only guy who didn't know it was intercepted right away in North America, probably, because we all saw it on TV. You saw it live. He had his back to it because he was running a corner route. So he said, I didn't even know what happened except Packer fans were going nuts. or Patriot fans. Yes, Patriot fans.
Let's go to the draft, and we've been talking about it today. People, 936-6262. If you got questions for Glenn, Curtis Rourke in the third round for the Riders. I love the pick.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, any other sort of long shot draft pick, to me, I wouldn't do it. Like if it was a linebacker or a receiver, and you thought we're not probably gonna see him for 2 or 3 years because he got drafted in the NFL. So let's see how that goes. I probably wouldn't use the pick that early or at all if it was that kind of player or that kind of position. But for a Canadian quarterback with his resume in college football, the fact that his brother is a starting quarterback in the CFL in Nathan, I think it was absolutely a good pick to go number 3. In fact, I thought a team may have taken him higher.
Really?
I really did because of Nathan. And let me give you a quick scenario of what could happen here. And this happens more than you think. He goes down there. Now, he's a draft pick, not a walk-on or not a free agent. So that changes things because they protect their scouting staffs. So if you're drafted, you're at least a year for sure. You're going to be there a year.
Automatic.
Yeah. And they're going to give you some money up front. So they don't want to lose on that investment. However, it only takes sort of American coach to say, you know, you're a Canadian kid, you're okay, you'll do a couple reps at the end of practice, maybe you play scout team against the D, but we're gonna play these other 3 guys ahead of you in practice. So his reps get limited, and I'm just giving you a scenario that the Riders could see him possibly sooner than you think. Now I don't think it'll be in a year because he was drafted, but because of that reason, because of his brother being in the league, because of what he's done in college football, I think he's worth a third round. In fact, I might have thought of him higher than that. And you mentioned, Barney, on the way in, on the drive, I was listening in, that he probably sparked the next quarterback draft. The next Elgersma, thank you. Yeah,
That triggered that pick.
It
next
probably
round.
triggered it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Winnipeg.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the teams are probably playing their cards close to their chest vest region.
How long will it last? Could we get to the 6th round? Yeah.
We're taking him at 5.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No. And then all of a sudden the Riders take him and it's like,
Wow, let's
blow
get
that
him.
up.
Yeah. And Zach Collaros is not a young man anymore. Good player, but not a young man.
And Elgersma probably could play as it stands right now if it's a video game, and because he's not drafted.
Yeah.
Or he could play earlier.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, and again, he's going to get more than Rourke. He's going to get that sort of, I'll say, Canadian bias or.
For sure.
He's going to get more of that than Curtis Rourke because, they're going to say, well, he's the Canadian kid. And that's happened more than you think to a lot of guys. I mean, I've had many a conversation with players that I know from a talent perspective could play down there that went down for a tryout and didn't make it because they just didn't get enough reps to prove what they could do.
Colson?
Elgersma went in round 2. He went before Rourke. Just one thing to clear up there. Yeah. He was the 18th pick.
It was after.
Oh,
yeah.
he was.
Yeah, Curtis was after.
Yeah, okay.
And then he did. Elgersma didn't go in the NFL, which
that's right.
That 7th, 8th. It was like, So either way, though, that pick probably
maybe
triggered the Riders.
Triggered the Riders
Yeah,
to go
because
and,
the Riders
and get Rourke.
didn't have a second-round pick, so
Yeah, either way you look at that, one going first, but yeah, that triggered each other because I'm sure the teams were trying to extend that as long as they could, because for me the number one philosophy would be the guys I draft I want to see in training camp, because they can help you. They can help you with depth, they can help you with special teams, so get them to training camp. I think you make an exception for a Canadian quarterback with both of those guys' resumes and abilities.
So it's for everybody that's kind of gearing up for training camp, because now we're kind of within days of whether you're going into Saskatoon or Winnipeg or Vancouver, Toronto, wherever it may be. What's it like for these guys now as they start? How much depth chart looking is there by all the players to say, okay, this is maybe where I fit in, maybe where I don't, to then having kind of the realization of what the management's looking at?
Yeah, I think for the most part, guys aren't really looking at the depth chart much. I mean, the veterans who are the starters, the incumbents, they're not going to worry too much about that. They're sort of looking at getting a real fast start. I mean, I at times, I think we've moved beyond the Ray Elgard rule. I used to call it the Ray Elgard rule because he would practice for 3 days in training camp and then all of a sudden have a tweak, like his back or his hamstring, or there'd be a tweak and he'd miss a week. Now, back then, there was a month of two-a-days, so I didn't really blame him. But he would have a mysterious injury that was very hard to diagnose, but kept him out of practice for about a week, and then he'd be back. But he had to establish himself in those first 3 or 4 games or practices, days of training camp. He had to show that he was back in shape, he was back ready. I mean, you still have to earn your job as a veteran, but I don't think there's much depth chart looking or reading into it. If you're drafted or if you sign as a free agent, you're in camp. Now you want to get as many reps as you can, even if it's special teams work or whatever. If they say, does anyone here hold on field goals or can they cover kicks or whatever?
Sing brand new man.
Sing brand new man in the kitchen. Man, put your hand up. Put your hand up quick and get in that rep, because you never know. You never know what rep it is where the coach goes, hey, what about that guy? He looked pretty good there. Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever happened, and Munzy, even going back to the days that your stations up north would cover the Huskies as well, where the Riders snagged 2 U of Saskatchewan kids, 2 U of S Huskies in Weeb and Hundeby.
Yeah. Well, Seth, I presented him with an award, the Glen Suitor Team First Award, which is given every year to one of the Huskies, and that's
because of your work in the Cayman Islands.
I shouldn't have told you guys this story out there about the Cayman Islands, but but good kids. I mean, Seth talked at the end of he represented the team and stepped up at the end of the Dogs Breakfast and addressed the crowd, over 1,400 people. That's not easy to do for those young men, and he was fantastic. He looks like he's ready to get to camp. I know he has one more year, and then he's going to get there. And Jeremy O'Day said he's looking at the Husky program because his priority in the draft is character people. He said that's the first thing we're looking at, because the ability is there for all the guys you're looking at. You've got your whole board, and they all have talent. But he said, I want those high character guys. So that's where it starts. That's what Scott Flory's doing up in Saskatoon. He's building that type. Great leadership between BT previously and Coach Flory now. I mean, those are leaders of men, and those kids are coming out better people out of the program, whether they get drafted or not. But these are 2 good picks, and the Riders are looking for it. This is not a pick just for marketing. These guys are players that they expect to be starters very quickly.
Maybe outside of just the draft itself, and you are on the Voice of the Riders right now, but who do you like going into this year team-wise? Like, I know you're obviously doing a lot of prep, getting ready for the TSN schedule again this year, but just based on organizations from last year to this year and kind of how things have played out during the winter, you got some favorites coming into 25 here?
Well, when you're doing that, I think you look at the quarterback position. I think Nathan Rourke is going to be back. I think we're going to see his form again. It was an up and down season for him in BC. I'd like to see him back with that. He was jumping off the page. I mean, he looked as good as I've seen any young quarterback any side of the border in a long, long time. I've been covered a lot of games. His quick release, his ability to read defenses and get the ball out with accuracy was excellent. Now, when he went down with his tryout, that kind of disrupted it. They've got a new quarterback in Montreal. I will have to wait and see. I like the Riders because I think Corey Mace is building from the line of scrimmage out, and I think that's the way to go. I think you win games there. If they can protect Trevor Harris will be the MOP in the league, and the Riders will be in the Grey Cup. They got to protect him, and that's what I think the priority is for Corey Mace. He's looking at this line of scrimmage. But having said all of that, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are the big dog on the porch, and until you knock them off, it's still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that are a favorite.
That's as close as we're ever going to get to a Suitor prediction. All we had to do was bring him in studio, right? It was announced today. This is really cool as well. The University of Regina Rams head coach Mark McConkey announced that Jaden Marwick has been named the team's new offensive coordinator. Obviously, Donnelly promoted to the Riders locally. He's part of that team now. It's just where this, and Munzy, you know this, being a Humboldt guy, you've seen the guys go through their like football in Saskatchewan. You saw it today, Glenn, and I know it comes across kind of cheesy sometimes where it's like, oh, Saskatchewan, all that, but per capita, like it means so much here, and we're damn good.
Yeah, no, it is, and I mentioned that in the breakfast this morning to the fans, and how I'm inspired every early May when I get to the Dogs Breakfast by just the unwavering passion for football that this province has. And honestly, I'm not overstating to say that they have saved the game at times with their enthusiasm, with their excitement, and how much they love not just football in general, because I know there's a lot of NFL fans here, and I said today, that's okay. Let's not make it one or the other. Let's stop doing that. If you're doing that, stop it. Because you don't have to. You can have your favorite team down south, and you can have your favorite team in the CFL. So, yeah, but the fans here, I mean, they were sort of, I've been there 20 years now, or over 20 years. And so a lot of people were coming up to say hi and things, and I would say, you guys think that I'm helping. I think that you're inspiring me to be more enthusiastic again, to get back going, and to get ready for a new football season coming up. You guys are driving it because you always have. And that's at all levels, too. And that's why I think flag football is going to be central to Saskatchewan. Like, we may see Football Canada do something in Saskatchewan with flag football. Maybe some offices, things like that, to make this sort of a central hub for flag because it's so popular here. And that's going to just keep growing the game, too. So way to go, fans. I mean, it's funny because we feel like it is cheesy, right, Barney? You feel like, I don't know, should we be saying that there are all these great? But it truly is. It truly is. And now, attendance at games is one thing, and we got to fill up Mosaic again. And I said at the end of the breakfast, and I'll say it again, if you go to a CFL game, if you go to a Rams game or a Huskies game, you will be entertained because our rules allow for the best chance of a finish in the final 3 minutes. The other thing that is certain that you won't have is a tariff. So enjoy the CFL football.
Oh, elbows up dance. If you want to look like a real weirdo, just get that thing going. Sorry, go ahead, Munzy.
How's that schedule look, Suits? Have you gone through it yet? When do you get busy?
Well, I'm doing the opener here in Saskatchewan, so Barney and I are going to be fighting over a meeting time with the new commissioner because he's already said he wants to bend Barney's ear on flag football and things like that here, which I think is excellent.
Let's get a kitchen, a couple of guitars, some beers, and some Western pizza. That's how we get it done.
Now, gentlemen, before we go, I brought back some. You guys know I was in Europe, and I went to St. Andrews, and I brought back a little trinket here.
No,
now, I made a bit of an assumption because I guess I thought, when I get this, how much is Barney actually on the green? He must he must eventually get to the green, right? Like eventually he gets there. I don't know how many strokes it takes to get there, but this is a St. Andrews ball marker.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. And
You're watching the stream.
Yes. And so now you got to get on the green to use that. So
yeah. So you know why this thank you so much. Very appreciative, thoughtful by you, is I lost mine.
Oh, good timing.
I didn't have the one that the
pops
magnet
out.
in.
Yeah.
So I just had a little one like that, and I don't know where it is. So
there you go.
That will
St.
look
Andrew,
good
man.
at the lake this summer, eh?
At the Humboldt tournament.
Anywhere.
So do me a favor, though. When you pick that up off the green, please don't be putting like an 8 or 9 on your card after you walk back to your bag.
Well, that happens, Glenn. I can't guarantee. There's some snowmen out there. Some Mike Medanos.
You can't tell us you played without telling us how you played.
I broke even. Well, yeah.
If the course is with no out of bounds, that's my kind of track. So what you're in town till when?
Yeah, leaving Saturday morning. Gonna meet with some friends in the next day or two. Might go to the rider office again just to sit with Craig. I had a good talk with Craig at the breakfast. Craig Reynolds, and want to sit with Jeremy O'Day and have a discussion with him too. And boy, Corey Mace he's a favorite. I got to say, I'm not allowed to cheer for teams, but I can cheer for people, and I think Corey Mace, they've got the right guy in charge.
Tomorrow's a big day. Rider fans out there, single game tickets go on sale 10 a.m. Wide range of ticket packages. This includes the Labor Day Classic, and I like that. What is it? The watermelon package, where it's the home opener and Labor Day. Together.
Nice.
You get in for it. It's like very reasonable. No tariffs there as well.
And we'll see about Brooks and Dunn at halftime. No. Oh.
Let's go.
Don't start something you can't finish there.
So, what was the last one we got that texted in? Cowgirls Don't Cry, and the Cowboy Rides Away.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Cowgirls Don't Cry, that's with Reba.
Yeah.
That tugs at the heart for all the dads out there. I'm taking my daughter to Nitty Gritty Dirt Band tonight.
Oh, Fishing in the Dark?
Yeah. A Dance Little Jean.
Oh, yeah.
Hey? Oh, I remember my dad cooking bacon to that on a Sunday morning.
We got to get to the kitchen, man. We got to get there.
It will.
Get a guitar.
It's going to happen. Suits, thanks so much for coming in live.
Oh, this is great. And I can see who really runs the show over here, too. It's those guys over on the other side.
They're actually playing online gaming. They're just clicking a lot of buttons. Sounds like they're doing a lot. Glen Suitor, and as always, for our friends at Bronco Plumbing and Heating, professional service is guaranteed every time. They're going to treat you right. 781-2090. I should have got you to do that, Reed.
Oh, well, next time we'll do it.
You'll be here all summer.
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
And the opener.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go to break. SportsCage streaming at sportscage.com and on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Count of 3.
Welcome back. 1-0 Leafs.
Who scored?
Guess.
Anyone? Who told you an hour 2 would score 2 tonight? He's got 1. I'm just texting Madani right now. Who scored?
Here we go. We started with the Jets and Blues, talking about that series and how it's gotten absolutely greasy. And now it looks like Scheifele didn't even hop on the airplane today, so he's staying at home.
He did not travel.
So they're going into Game 6 without him, obviously without Ehlers. Ehlers
is on the trip, though.
Yeah, he's on the trip. I don't think he took his hockey bag.
Someone will do that for him. Don't worry. Yeah, a good Saskatchewan guy from Kindersley by the name of Jason McMaster is the equipment manager.
Oh, cool. How well do you know the head coach of the Jets?
Very well. Worked with him for 5 years with the Moose, Scott Arneal.
Yeah. One of those, a good story, right? Where he gets his chance to be a head coach. After the game yesterday, loved his comments.
Scott, you had a long discussion with the referee before the second. What were your thoughts on the Shen hit?
Well, I didn't know Monty got his medical degree. I'm trying to say how our player got hurt. He's way off base. Should not make that comment. There's some things that have been going on in this series, and that was a repeat of what we've seen before. A player leaving his feet and then hitting the player in a very unprotected spot, like hitting them in the sense almost blindsiding them. Not happy how the call was made. 2-minute minor. Not even looking at it is what I was upset about. And it is something that we have talked to the league about for 5 games.
How would you describe the paddle save that Hellebuck made?
Yeah, those are special. I mean, obviously changes the game probably if they goes in, but that was a big time moment that that's a game changer. It really is, and that's what we needed. He said you guys talked to him, I talked to him, and he delivered.
Yeah, he did deliver. He's got to deliver tomorrow night. Huge.
No question. But right now, to me, that's the save of the playoffs. Of all the games that have been played so far, that's the one we're going to see for a long time. And today, I saw he was nominated. He's one of the 3 finalists now for the Hart Trophy for the most valuable player during the regular season. No surprise. Leon Draisaitl from Edmonton, Nikita Kucherov from Tampa, the other finalists. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's Hellebuck. And, hey, I lived in Edmonton. I worked with the Oilers. I live in Winnipeg. I worked with the Jets. Connor Hellebuck was the most important player during the regular season to his team than the other 800 players that were in the league this year.
So, Oilers Kings tonight. Oh, it couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. I'm going to have to watch that one while watching Nitty Gritty Dirtpan. I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy watching hockey at the concert. All good. Shout out to Ed on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. He says, "A woman like you, great vocals." That was his favorite Brooks and Dunn song. Who would have thought, Munzy, that we would have the text line would have lit up for Brooks and Dunn song? I think they would sell out Mosaic Stadium with the right ticket price.
There's no doubt. I'd drive in from Winnipeg for that. I think it'd be fantastic.
The right ticket price. Okay, we're going to go to break here. Munzy, thanks. We're going to rerun the Trevor Blevins interview, head coach of the Melfort Mustangs. They're on their way to the Centennial Cup. If you missed it in hour 1, it's pretty entertaining. Anyway, and they got a chance to finally seal the deal and bring that thing back to Saskatchewan. It is a SportsCage, the home of local sports in Saskatchewan on 620 CKRM.